There it is. Yep.
All right, fantastic. All right, just waiting for. All right, just going to wait for a few. All right, make sure if you're here, welcome back. In the meantime, make sure that you're hitting the comment section. Let us know where you at, where you're commenting from, and we're gonna get started.
Yeah, it was
All right.
it was a great experience, man. I never drank so much Patron in my life.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have a story about Patron, but I can't talk on here because this is a family podcast. But yeah, but all right, people,
Well,
listen. We'll be
I
right. We'll be right back. I'm just gonna go ahead and play this video, and then Chris, you're gonna put us up
uh,
on game.
no, I was just going to respond to his,
Oh,
but put that video up. Put that video up.
yes, yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. It's kush. I love me too much and your brain turn to mush. Fall flat on your tush. You couldn't handle the product I push. I guess I'm just used to it, I just do it. Like Nike swoosh, none of that Reggie Bush cause I'm top shelf, I ain't got.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And we're gonna have to talk to Matt about that last one because we're not yeah.
Yeah,
In the meantime, people, welcome back.
it should be on theirs.
It really should because it's just like listen. They're lucky if they make it out the regular season at this point. Like it's looking that crazy. But you know what? They have a bunch of draft picks, so we'll see. But in the meantime, people, welcome back to the No Jack podcast. We'll be talking about everything Colts and sprinkling a little bit of petty for, maybe some AFC South teams. Anybody else who wants to just talk a little crazy. We don't care,
Yeah,
but you know what? Listen, we're going to have fun, okay? This is a fun family podcast. And when I say family, forget your team. I don't care. You know what? That's fine. We'll be okay. In the meantime, let's just go ahead and make sure that we get started with everybody. Well, actually, we just want to let you know tonight Austin is currently on his honeymoon. As we know, he got married last weekend. So, congratulations. And with us this evening, as a special guest, we have with us also Colts fan, Colts faithful. And he got to eyewitness Mahomes take the L home. We have with us Chris Norton.
Thank you. And hey, I got to meet up with who you're probably going to introduce next, right down there. But it was good. It was a good game.
yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a great game.
Tips in all.
Fantastic. All right. And so we have with us. You were tipsy because the last video that you sent is just like you were jumping up like you were at a Rihanna concert front row.
No, it'll be Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with her, but yeah,
Yeah, don't talk too loud. Okay, you gotta relax.
it's not shared on my page, so she can.
And then we have with us Josh Senior.
Let's get everybody. Welcome back. Everything is back except my voice.
Hey, that was a game to lose a voice below.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm Chris Jackson. So once again, people, welcome. We already have people in the comments. A good brother Rick says Colts trash. You're lucky I like Lamar, otherwise I'd slander him. But you know what? That's it. He said something else, but I'm not gonna post that up here because
He
once again,
said, "Oh, he said Colts are trash, but you ain't paid your quarterback yet, who might leave for the Colts." Sit down, Ricky.
Hey, get spicy. Oh, by the way, somebody said, did you send the thank you to Chris Jones for getting you this one?
I'm
Not
sending.
yet.
I'm gonna send him a toaster.
All
A
right.
toaster with some cheese or something.
And then we have Josh Allen. He's like one of three Josh Allens, probably the best out of the
He's
three in
not the
terms of
one making
personality.
money. No.
Well, I mean, they both are. But you know what? It is what it is. And he says, "Please beat the Titans this Sunday. Their fans deserve it." You're right. Their
Shout out,
fans do deserve it.
hey, shout out,
Yeah.
shout out Josh Allen. Shout out to your Jags.
Yeah.
Y'all went out to L.A. and y'all played football, so y'all didn't tickle the Chargers.
Didn't tickle them. Well, no, Tennessee are the only ticklers out there. So Tennessee is they're the only ticklers. That's still the best worst comment ever.
Isn't the beverage of choice out there mayonnaise?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh man,
Sorry.
yeah. The beverage of choice is the mayonnaise. Yeah.
mayonnaise and Patron salt.
Yep, exactly. Hashtag Tennessee ticklers, and then we had, and then Rick said Ruby Rose fire. He also said it's a joke.
Yes.
And then he said go. He said go effing bad O line Colts. All right, yes, you are right. That O line.
Who is Leslie?
I have. Well, she's a Colts fan, so.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah, she's a Colts fan, so yeah, it's bad. It's bad. We know it's bad. Like I'm okay with I'm okay with slander as long as there's facts intertwined. It's when there's slander and it's just like, no, you're completely wrong. Like that doesn't make sense.
A lot of fan
And then we
pages
had-
are like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and then they said Chargers are going to charge her, which they did because I mean, let's be honest, Justin Herbert shouldn't have been playing at all. So
Nope.
you know, it is what it is. But before we get into the game, before we get into everything, first off, Manscaped. Very, very important. We are now sponsored by Manscaped, which means that if we're sponsored by Manscaped, you guys benefit. Which means that if you go online, you go to manscaped.com, whatever you order your items on there. If you want to order a shaver, whatever, they have creams. Apparently, they have scrot deodorant. I don't know what that is. Apparently, that's a thing. But they have all of that. If you use promo code FanBattle, all one word, no spaces, you use that code at checkout, 20% off and free shipping on the whole entire order. So yeah, make sure that you go ahead and you do that because that's actually pretty good. And like I said, they sponsor us now. So
yes,
yeah, go ahead and order.
I kind of
ASAP.
might
Okay?
need some of that. Yeah.
Listen. Use promo code FanBattle.
I wanted
Save
to.
yourself
I
20% off.
am.
I ordered mine
Pretty
yesterday, so I'm waiting on it. I ordered mine
Matter
yesterday.
of fact,
Did you?
I got you on the shipping. You ain't even got to worry about that.
Oh, so sweet.
But hey, before we talk about the game,
yes,
little tidbit of news last week kind of hit on Twitter, and you know how you have to kind of go like once you see like one headline, you have to kind of dig deeper.
yeah.
So apparently last week there were some comments that were made by Gus Bradley, regarding guys having to play their part and play their role and do what they needed to do, and then of course you had to go a little bit further back. So apparently, Julian Blackmon had some nothing disrespectful, but it's just like it's the kind of thing where you don't want to necessarily hear it out of a player in regards to a coach, where he said, hey, we absolutely want him to be, we have to trust him. We want the coach. We are absolutely going to listen to the coaches, but we want the coach to listen to us too.
Right.
And it was just
Right.
basically alluding to the fact that Isaiah Rodgers, up till this past weekend, didn't play a single defensive snap.
Right.
And
Right.
it's I understand that it has a little bit something to do with the defense, because with the defense they have different looks. With
Right.
his defense, you have to have the taller ranging
Hello?
corners on the outside, have somebody on the inside. So that's a little bit different. But now you see that it's you're excluding guys who for a fact can go out there and play and do what they need to do. So what do we make of this in regards to this? Like, is this something that could potentially be an issue? Like, is this something that can be healed over time once this defense starts to kind of come together? Like, how do we go about this? And I'll start with Josh, and then I'll go over to you, Chris.
Okay.
As we saw Sunday, no other receiver really had a good game other than Juju. That the other guy, I forgot his name. He always says his name. Valdez Scanlon, whatever his name is.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Yeah,
He didn't have a major impact. Who else was a receiver? Did Robinson even play? Scott Moore was the returner.
Scott Moore was more the returner. It was more Juju Smith-Schuster. I think it was a little bit of McCole Hardman, Valdez-Scantling. Of course, Travis Kelce was in there. I think those were their primary receiving options.
So Juju was the only one that made an impact, a bigger impact in that game outside of Kelce. They used the running backs in the passing game with McKinnon and Hilaire, and like you said, with Harmon. But the other guys didn't do well. I mean, you can credit the defensive scheme, able to stop, and they knew what was going on. Even Kelce didn't have the biggest game. Yeah, he had a touchdown, but he didn't have the biggest game like we normally see him doing. So. With them listening to the players and actually playing Isaiah in key moments of the game, it was beneficial. It really did help. It helped in the run game. It helped definitely in the passing game. Like I said, Juju was the only receiver that had a major impact in that game, and Gilly was on him most of the night, most of the morning.
Yep.
So I don't see it as I don't see it as a bad thing. Like I said, they love the bigger range corners on the outside. Facing it's kind of bad, but I guess it would take for him to have a string of bad games for Isaiah to have his moment, because we know he can play. The guy had a great PFF score last year, great last year. So yeah, we got to see him on the field more, especially next week and the week after that, going forward.
Okay. And then what about you, Chris? It's just like, what do you make of these comments and what's going on?
Well, I think he's shown in the times that he's had over the last 3 years, like you said, he tends to step up in big moments. And yes, he hadn't been in Gus Bradley's system, but I think he's, as a younger player, he's kind of stepping up and reading pretty quick and playing off of everybody else communicating well. It's mostly the same back end talking all together pretty consistently. So they seem to communicate well with him, and he reads very well what he's doing when he's in there. He's proving some great big plays over where sometimes we haven't played very well,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but and I think if we're talking about like how, especially on the defensive side, things have been like, that Leonard, having not played the last 3 games has been a big thing. Leonard, when you have somebody like Leonard, it's just like he's gonna, if you're playing a heavy zone, he's gonna be all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to play. So the thing is, you don't have to have, Gilmore playing in a way where it's just like he's playing in his zone. You can maybe even have him just go ahead and lock in.
Right.
But the one thing about Gus Bradley's defense is that we see that the pass rush hasn't necessarily been like spectacular. But the thing, I mean, for the secondary has played good, but the thing is, I don't think that they play as good as they can if they don't have the pressure up front. And I think it's just like it's an absolute ripple effect. Now, in regards to Isaiah Rodgers, I do still feel, I'm just like, I don't care what the scheme is. It's an absolute travesty that you don't have somebody like him. Like I don't give a shit about PFF scores. I don't care about that kind of stuff. What I care about what you can do in a system. Because the thing is now, if the season's getting beat, I don't care about what score that you had last year. Because 9 times out of 10, you were coming in and you were just getting whatever score you were getting whenever you were
Right.
targeted. They're not they don't have that. If Brandon Facison covered the fourth wide receiver in a game where it was a team that generally it's just like is more run heavy and they don't do that well in passing, and he batted down 2 balls, then of course it's going to be absolutely great when it comes to a PFF score because they don't factor in anything. All they're factoring in is, oh, how did you do with this? How did you do with that? No, it's not. He was the fifth option on a team where you had Trayvon Mullen and can't name a damn soul after that.
Right, right.
Like it's like that's just what it is, and that's the reason why when you're talking about, okay, yeah, you're gonna bring the guy over, it's just like, why do you need to bring him over? Like the only thing he has going for him is the fact that he's 6'2".
Right.
I mean, he gets beat a lot, and the thing is, even with Isaiah Rodgers, it's like he has speed to be able to keep up, but then it's just like he'll jump with pretty much anybody also. You're not going to be able to do the things on him. So it's just like, yeah, you can have that 6'2", but what happens if the mechanics aren't necessarily all the way there?
Yeah, one thing we did saw too is that we saw different safeties. We didn't see Nick Cross versus Mahomes. We saw Rodney, which
Yeah.
which played a big. He was the impact of the game because he's a veteran. And he's seen this.
Oh yeah,
He's seen this
Yeah.
offense. So we didn't see Nick Cross as much. We didn't see the other rookie safety, which played good as well too. But we didn't see Nick Cross in that game.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but yeah, that was another thing that,
Yeah.
that we got to see.
and honestly, it's just like if you are saying that you're still going to play Nick Cross, but him and McLeod are going to kind of share snaps, I understand that, and that I'm okay with because of the fact that the one thing that you have to have against Mahomes is that you have to have a solid game where you don't have to worry about there being, like I say, any holes, because Mahomes is going to be able to pick that apart. The offensive
Oh,
coordinator
yeah.
is going to be able to pick that apart. So that's why it becomes a little bit tougher to say, okay, well, you know what? As good as Nick Cross has been doing, and they said that today too. They said as good as Nick Cross has been doing, McLeod has that real end game experience. So it's not necessarily a knock on Cross, but it's more so a compliment to McLeod's veteran knowledge and what he's able to do. So I mean, I didn't have a
Right.
problem with that. I just have a problem with somebody like Rodgers not seeing the field at all. Like that
Right.
that's an
No.
issue for me. So it's I'm not all the way with that. So, but we're about to go ahead and just discuss the whole game. We just have more comments come in. Leslie said,
Okay.
"I hear the soap is dope in regards to the Manscaped soap. So yeah, go out and buy that. Fan battle.
Cool.
You know what? Holidays are coming up. It would be great to go ahead and just get your stuff in advance, and you get it for 20% off and free shipping. You got it.
Hey.
Okay,
That's
you
up
said
to
like
the man.
he said y'all need to let me feature on the episode. We don't. Well, you know what? Hopefully, we make the playoffs. We play the Ravens. Play the Ravens in the playoffs. We will make it an extravaganza. Extravaganza. All right, I got you. And he says, my bro. Well, Julian. Well, his brother's my bro. Oh yeah, because Julian Black. By the way, holla at your bro because we need to go. I want to make sure we get Julian on here so we can talk to him because yeah. He's a friend. He's a friend of the podcast, even though he's never been on here. But yeah, you get that. All right. And then Leslie said Juju and Kelsey, that's it, which is pretty much what it was. But I mean,
Yeah.
considering that, I mean, as great as Kelsey is as a tight end, I mean, holding him to 4 receptions for 58 yards is absolutely I think that's great, especially since we were able to stop Kelsey from doing what OJ Howard did to us in week 1.
Yes.
So yes.
Maybe
Yes.
Derwin James did that to him. Made him kind of spooked a little bit.
Listen, if you did, thank you, Derwin. Thank you. We appreciate you. He said Isaiah Rodgers is senior is fire. Glad to see him back on the field. I hope he keeps getting PT. Absolutely, because I'm right there with you.
I agree.
The pass rush has been boo-boo. Absolutely. And then Liz said they stayed with and in front of the reserves most of the game, even in zone. So, I mean, yeah, it was a pretty sound game in terms of how they played. And, I think we've said this before that Chris Ballard, with him coming over from Kansas City, well, I think he was like the assistant GM or whatever it was.
Scout.
He basically just like worked to, he was basically working to make sure that he built this team to be able to beat a team like the Chiefs. And I got laughed at when I said that. I said a lot of things last week in regards to the Chiefs, and they said, you know what, that don't sound right. And I'm just like, okay, you wait. And here we are. Victories abound.
It did.
Small point games are hard to come by nowadays, so that's where your defense, your running, clock management, stuff like that comes into play. And that's if you can hold a high scoring team like the Chiefs, the Bills, stuff like that, it pays off. Well,
yeah, and I mean, you look at the last few games, it's just like, I mean, lackluster as they may be, nobody's been able. I think Jacksonville scored the most with 24, and the thing is, they dominated time of possession, which we still got 0, and that was absolutely a travesty. But the thing is, it's just like it shows the defense. The defense even now is just like they're coming up, they're doing what they need to do. But but oh wait, we actually had Derek Wilson said what's good. And then it says, I don't know why it called me a Facebook user. LOL. This is Austin. What's up, Austin? Hope you're having a great time on the ship. Okay.
What's good?
I heard that you were going to do the cha-cha slide for everybody, so I'm completely okay with that.
Yes, so, we got to see the video on that one.
So you keep on having a great time playing. But Chris, as probably, well, I mean, you both were pretty hammered, but as the one who was probably the least hammered out of the two, give us your analysis of the actual game from what you can remember.
It was tough to watch because watching that offensive line just first quarter, first drive was pretty decent, but just watching the rest of the game, miscommunication between the offensive line was atrocious. I mean, and it's the same thing that we've seen the last 3 games. It could be that, we didn't address left tackle, and so everybody's sliding this way or that way to cover up for that guy next to him. So because one guy's picking up the other one's picking up the other, stunts and weird blitzes are just kind of putting everything behind the first possession. Miscommunication seems to be pretty heavy with the whole thing, so I don't understand that. But watching the rest of the game, defense started just really stepping up and picking up where they needed to and kept us in the game. After multiple missed opportunities, in the end, they kept us there. And they ended up shutting it down. And it was a good game to watch, like a last of the few, where the last quarter has been probably the best part of watching the game, where the whole team has actually finally come together, started working as a unit together.
Yeah. And it's always the end of the game when apparently we like to come alive. Like they absolutely just make us hate them for like the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter is when things just get way too interesting.
Yeah, it gave us a heart attack.
But they kept us there. It was like everything started clicking. It's like Matt Ryan and our offense needs to be in a 2-minute drill to a 4-minute drill 95% of the time.
I agree that.
We need to have a visor on them where they just see the clock, and the clock always says 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, for sure.
What about you, Josh? What did you see like during the game? Because like I said, I know you were there, but you had a little bit.
Oh no, I was able to see the game. I was functioning to see the game.
I was too.
Yeah, I was able. I mean, as we all see, the offensive line struggle. The run blocking is terrible and the pass blocking is terrible. I was surprised to see Um, JT average got bumped up to 3.4. I think the number was and they held up long enough for Pierce to get saw Pierce signing, Jelani Woods signing, which our tight ends were our struggles. Man, what a hell of a catch by Pittman. I thought it was picked off. What a hell of a catch in that fourth quarter. And wow, that set us up to get to the game winning touchdown.
Yanked it out.
He did. And Matt Ryan got to take care of the ball. I mean, 7 fumbles in 3 games. That's terrible. That's very terrible. He has to have awareness. I know the left side is killing him right now. Particularly Matt Pryor. We gotta figure it out. I know we saw the stat that Bernard should start. Just go ahead and start him. Start Bernard. Take out Pinter garbage. put Pryor on that side as right guard and just see how that goes. Because right now the left tackle position with Pryor is not working. It's causing us some issues. On the defense side,
Matt Pryor looks like Taylor Lewan without the juice. Like it's just not good. It's just not good. Like it's just like Taylor Lewan's off that balcony, and then all of a sudden it's just like he's getting blown up by 5'11" safeties. It's just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the rookie was injured this weekend, so he couldn't pick up any playing time because he was on IR.
Yeah, which I mean, that's the reason why. Yeah, he was on. He was just out for the game. So
yeah.
And Frank Wright play calling again. Like I said, when it was 17-13. I said we was at the goal line. We was in the red zone. I said take the damn points and make it 17-16. So we didn't need a touchdown to win the game or to be up. All we need is a field goal or whatnot to that would be to ice the game. But he decided to go for it, and we didn't get it. And the other 4th down and inches we didn't get, where he tried to have JT jump over a pile, and he wasn't even nowhere near an inch.
Yeah. It was just like looking at that, like they watched how it was, and it's just like you knew for a fact, based on the fact that the O-line had not been blocking properly, fact that it's just like that offense, the offensive play calling had been super vanilla and one-dimensional.
Yeah.
That they pretty much knew exactly where it was going to go. As soon as they handed the ball off, you knew that he was going to be going to that side and potentially working off of Quentin Nelson's side.
Yeah,
they met him right there.
Instantly.
Oh no, they saw that all the way. There was no guessing.
It was bad. And defense did their thing. I mean, with the pressure that we got to him, we only got like 1 sack or 2 sacks. But the pressure we got Mahomes, it affected his throws. He was off target on a couple of them to his receivers. It made him throw out of bounds, made him run out of the pocket. The one on the 2-point conversion, that was a hell of a play. Yeah. That was a hell of a fucking play.
No.
Only he can make that play, and maybe Aaron Rodgers. But that was a heck of a play. I have to give credit where it's due. But it made him uncomfortable. It made him very uncomfortable, which we wanted. It made him uncomfortable on the game stealing interception, where he thought he was going to get tackled by the knees. It was his own guy, so he threw it. He threw it before he should have, causing Gilly to tip it for the game stealing interception.
Absolutely, yeah. And we, it was a really big. It was refreshing to see that the defense really stepped up the way that they did, because the defense stepping up at the end there in a moment where for a fact that all dogs are allowed.
Yeah,
all dogs are allowed.
Oh yeah.
But the great part about at least this game was that you kind of start to see that. Yeah, it's just like it looks like it was taking time to kind of get guys used to it, because I mean, we don't have a lot of new faces on this defense.
Right.
I mean, it's just like I think outside of the guys who were hurt,
Gilly,
Yannick, and what's his name? I think it's just Gilly, Yannick, and McLeod.
And Brandon Facison.
Yeah,
Brandon Facison. But the thing is, it's just like this is like a lot of the same guys are playing. And to see, these guys be able to step up because we knew what they were capable of last year. I mean, this was a team that had the highest in terms of turnover differential, for any defense in the league. Like we were number one. So, to see that they're not necessarily making teams turn the ball over as frequently. Of course, maybe that changes with Leonard coming back. But, now to be able to see, okay, the defense is stepping up, the defense is doing what they need to do, that's refreshing. Of course, it's kind of at the cost of the offense because, I mean, that O-line has taken a tremendous nosedive where they're not nearly as good as they were previously. So, I mean, it's just like,
I think we saw some of this offensive line at the last 2 games of last year. I mean, if you really look at it, if you look at the Raiders game and the Jaguars game, there was no protection. I don't know what happened over the last 2 games this year and the first 2 this year.
Right.
This offensive line, I don't know what has happened. Something is just completely different. There is no protection. I mean, Taylor has made some great plays with some bad blocks.
Yeah, he did Sunday. Yeah. He did a lot.
Yeah. And I think Chris, like we talked about this pre-production, of course, before Josh got in. But, and the thing is, it's just like, Josh, we've talked about this too. It's one thing if you have kind of one person that's missing and then the rest of the line is good because, let's be honest, the only outlier last year outside of everybody kind of being hurt and they're not necessarily being that chemistry was that Costanzo left the year before. And so, you only had to replace the left tackle. Now you have the left tackle and the right guard spot who there hasn't been any attempt to kind of upgrade those positions. They just said, okay, well, we're just going to promote from within, next man up. But the thing is, you're dealing with career backups who, are good if they have to come in and they have to be good for one game because then you can kind of say, all right, we're going to plan around the fact that, that left tackle position isn't going to be as strong as it normally is. But now you're peddling out Matt Pryor as if he's supposed to be Anthony Costanzo, and that wasn't the case. And now you have Danny Pinter, who Chris Reed should have been in that spot, but they didn't pay him. Where you have Danny Pinter, who's now it's just like he's getting blown up. I think somebody said it in the chat. Derek said it. He said, I just watched replays and Danny Pinter gave up 3 sacks.
Yeah.
So the problem is that I'm not going to vilify Matt Ryan when it comes to fumbles because Matt Ryan, in case we didn't know, it's just like he threw for 222 and 2 touchdowns. So we can say that, or we can be we can be upset with Matt Ryan, but the onus goes to that side of the ball where we haven't necessarily addressed in the last 2 years, and then that was the O-line.
Right.
Like Quentin Nelson's been the most consistent, and I mean he's the best. He's one of the best, if not the best, guard in the league. But outside of that, it's just like the rest of this O-line, they're either not playing up to expectations or we're having to overcompensate for guys not being as good as advertised.
So the QB usually calls the blocking for blitzes, but but it's also the center and everybody else to pick up their assignments when it's called out.
Yeah.
So usually they're block with it. I think there's just a lot of miscommunication between the whole line.
That's what Marcus Brady said.
Marcus
Brady said that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's I think this goes back to what we were talking about with Bargain Ben Ballard, where it's just like you don't spend. I mean, honestly, you can go out and get a veteran and just kind of secure that left tackle until you see something. But when you hear him say something like, Matt Pryor's earned the opportunity to start. No, he hasn't. Because the thing is, if you look good in camp, that's fantastic. But I mean, you have guys who literally just work off of his left shoulder, and then they're going in almost untouched. Like Quentin Nelson literally has to help him block or actually help him keep Matt Ryan upright. But the thing is, if you take Quentin Nelson out of his spot, that means that if somebody sends a stunt, that means that guess what? You have a free guy coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, watching that game, I saw a lot of guys come in untouched. I think in the fourth quarter. I was like, in the fourth quarter. I don't know his name. I didn't know. I forgot the guy, the linebacker. It wasn't 47. Darius Harris. It wasn't him. He made a lot of tackles, but it was a guy
from the Chiefs.
Yeah, he came in. He came in untouched.
Nick Bolton.
Yeah, he came in. I was like, oh
Bolton
my God.
was. Yep.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Bolton, yeah.
Untouched. I'm talking about untouched because
Like,
Nelson has to help out prior with Dunlap. Dunlap is like 97 years old, and he had to help out Dunlap and Frank. I mean, or either Frank Clark, because he was getting cooked. It was terrible. We got to get that worked out. And we saw today, Frank Wright said there's no changes yet. I'm like, okay, all right.
Like it's and that kind of, thank you for that, because that kind of segues me into the next one. Yes, we got to win. Yes, we got to win. Like, that sounds fantastic. But the thing is, given this game, is Frank Reich now off the hot seat?
I'll go first. Me personally, no.
Yeah.
Nah. And watching the 5 years history of what Frank Wright has done with this team, his career record and everything else does not put him off the hot seat, because the fact is we can never consistently get prepared for a season opener. Period. And then I have to think that at the end of last year, the falling apart of the team, I mean, the last two games, okay, how come we didn't come into this season after those last two games without a little fire and brimstone and, hey, let's go? And, a lot of other coaches would have brought their players in, and, okay, we would have went into Texans, we would have went into Jacksonville, and we would have lit it up, right?
Yep.
I think he consistently inspires people to when he's the underdog, but you shouldn't have to inspire people by being an underdog. I think you should come in and inspire people by better coaching and stuff like that. That's just my hot take,
Yeah. Yeah. And what about you, Josh? Is he off the hot seat? Because I'm going to address what Chris just said after you said what you said.
Just like Nathaniel is on a hot seat in one season. Frank Wright's still gonna be in a hot seat. It's a little cool off. It cooled off a little bit, but it's still warm. It ain't all the way hot. It's just warm a little bit. We'll know that after week 4 game.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because that's a very heated rivalry, and the thing is, it's just like more so than Irsay, being embarrassed about losing to the Jags. He takes this rivalry of the Titans very seriously. And, it's just like, and Chris, in regards to what you said, when it comes down to, Reich, it's a little bit different with Frank Reich and, having that whole underdog mentality, because that underdog mentality is cool. But the thing is, it's just like, at what point do you have to continuously have some type of gimmick in order to kind of get to the point where you have to win? It's just like, and I don't mean for this to sound insensitive, but the thing is, when we went through the whole Chuck Strong thing, it's just like everybody was playing hard and playing for the head coach and doing the things that they were doing, and then it's just like we continued to beat Chuck Strong, but it began to kind of be more of a crutch than it was like an inspirational thing.
Right.
So
I agree.
You have chopping wood, you have climbing the mountain. They're the exact same phrase. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. It's the exact same phrase.
Yeah, and it's like you're in a league where, ultimately, yes, you want to win the Super Bowl, but the thing is, it's just like the lifetime that you have here in terms of the league is short for some guys.
Fine.
Like, not everybody is going to end up playing as long as a Larry Fitzgerald or as a Matt Ryan in that case. So the thing is, like, at what point do you have to frequently be told that you have to be inspired to go and do this stuff? Like the chopping wood, climbing the mountain. doing all this other stuff. It's just like, if you want to play for somebody or play for a purpose, then that's fine. But the thing is, you shouldn't need all these inspirational quotes and metaphors in order to go out there and make sure that you're putting the best product out there, period. Because honestly, it's just like, I think it's kind of like something that maybe Ballard inspired. Because I mean, how long did we hold on to guys like Zach Pascal, who didn't do anything and then got upset when he got a second round tender, and then still ended up doing less than he did before he got this said second round tender. And now, where is he? He's in Philly, buried on a depth chart, and he's playing. And the thing is, it's not anything in terms of a knock on his talent, but I think it does speak to the fact that you have to go out there and earn it every single week. So when you have to, when if you need quotes in order to do that, it's just like, you're not 5, you're not 6 years old. Like, if you're not trying to win in order and trying to get a Super Bowl, what are you doing it for?
Another thing too that we didn't discuss. It took the crowd to boo Frank Wright to get that challenge, to get them to challenge that shit, that 2-point conversion shit, because we used to like, what the fuck is going on? Everybody like, what? You're not gonna say anything? Like nobody's gonna review this before, saying that, hey, it was converted to a 2 points to make it 14.
It was
10.
loud as heck.
It was loud.
It was insane.
We booed the shit out. We booed the shit out of it. We was like, what? And nobody's gonna challenge this shit, like, because he caught the ball. I thought he didn't have full possession, but he did. He came back out and then he ended up fumbling. So I was like, okay, that's incomplete. Well, nobody challenged it. No challenge, no booth challenge, no nothing. So we was like, okay. So we kept booing. And then after the TV timeout, it was like, we're going to go ahead and challenge the play. The previous, and that was after, that was about to kick it off. You probably didn't see it, but that was after the kickoff, or before kickoff for the Chiefs. They said the previous play is under review. I'm like, damn, it took all that shit. So yeah, that was crazy. But another fun.
No, go ahead.
Another fun fact that I shared with the AFC podcast, Fan Battle podcast yesterday, is that every miscue that the Chiefs had, I called, other than the Chris Jones thing. I called the missed extra point when they scored a touchdown after Frank dumbass went for it. I said, watch him miss it. I called the 4th and 11 fake punt, fake field goal, which was a dumb play by Andy Reid. Thank you, Andy Reid. I called it. I said, he's not kicking a field goal. I said he already missed the extra point. He's not kicking a field goal. They're gonna go for it. It's like, I'll be damned. I was like, okay, watch this shit. And the placeholder rolled out. I said, I told y'all. That's why my voice is out, because I just kept telling them, I told you fucking Chiefs fans. I was telling them they told me to shut up.
Yeah.
They told me to shut up. I was like, that was cool, man. But Andy Reid. A lot of you guys didn't see that that I didn't see Mahomes and the OC got into it. The hell of
I saw that.
Yeah, no, it was big. It was big.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward, but yeah, that was, man.
It's not the first time he's got into it with him.
Oh yeah. Well, this one they said that it was because Bieniemy wanted to run the ball, run the timeout, and then just go back before halftime. And Mahomes was just like, no, let's take a shot. And it was basically that. Which, I mean, so the thing is, it's just like, it's tough because it's just like he's a coach, but also Mahomes is a $500 million quarterback. So I mean, that changes the dynamic of things, because the thing is, it's just like, if you're paying somebody $500 million, you sure do have a certain amount of trust in them, that it's just like,
it wasn't needed, man.
Good decisions, but
it wasn't needed, man.
It just wasn't something that was absolutely,
because they get the ball back at halftime, so it wasn't like they needed a shot. Like they weren't even in field goal range or even a touchdown range. He just wanted to sling it across the damn field for yardage. Stats is all. Yeah. That's all it was. It wasn't. It was ignorant. But yeah,
you already know that it was going to be ridiculous. So yeah, so but either way, I mean, we knew what it was. But I mean, personally, I feel like Frank needs to be on the hot seat, and I think honestly he needs to be on the hot seat just for the simple fact that he needs to show that he can really just make these adjustments. Like, I get that he's analytics based and that we're going with percentages, but at the same time, it's just like, screw the analytics. It's just like, if you see something out there, if you see that you can go and a team is going to, if you see that you can run on a defense and you are still consistently passing because analytics say you should pass, then these
right,
analytics are really just putting you in a really crappy spot.
Well,
And it bothers me because it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just like, you have to be able to have that killer instinct. Me personally, I don't feel like Frank Reich has that killer instinct as much as he has that underdog mentality and that whole, we just got to keep on, chopping wood and fighting through and all that. It's just like,
all three
but that
phases,
there's
baby.
situations, yeah, but that there's situations where you absolutely can dominate and do what you need to do, and you're not doing it. So it's just like, the percentages aren't going to percentage if you're not doing what you need to do.
right. I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree too.
yeah, and then of course I have one more question, then we'll be wrapping up soon. But I did have a couple comments where Leslie says, "No, what about that drive CK had before the Bull extra point?" Um,
CK. Oh, Casey. Yeah.
Casey had. Well, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, it's just like, Casey is going to get the benefit of the doubt in a lot of different things because, I mean, they're Kansas City. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the golden boy. So at this point, I think the only person who they give more leeway to, other than Pat
Aaron
Mahomes, is
Rodgers.
probably Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Josh Allen. It's just like they're right now the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks that will get calls when calls aren't need to
No
be given.
matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. Like, we knew that. Like, if you thought that this was just going to be a game where we were just going to battle it out, and that was going to be it, they were sadly mistaken. They were going to try their damnedest to make sure that they were giving, as many opportunities as they could, and it just didn't
Right.
make sense. But it's just like, he came out with it, so whatever. And then we said, since Mahomes is in the league, he is 42-2 in scoring, fewer points in the game. Both of those losses come from us, and I saw that stat.
Yes.
And
I
that
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was amazing because it's like, yes, okay, so he absolutely, because of course that was the year that we went to KC and beat them with Jacoby Brissett.
Hmm.
Yep, I remember that. So yeah, he said the cold stat is there were just like 3 bad flags. Bad flags has been an issue. I mean, it's just like, some of those penalties that Kenny Moore has incurred over the last few weeks have been ridiculous. I don't know. I mean,
There's been a couple that yeah.
Yeah. One of Zaire Franklin was BS.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because that one was just like, if you see that they're both looking like they're hugging each other, why are you only calling the defender? Like, you've seen that. I mean, even the one where Alex Pierce mossed the guy, it's just like, the guy never
Ooh.
looked back. He literally was just like, hand in his face, damn near face mask, and then he caught the
Yep.
ball. I'm glad he caught the ball because, I mean, that's just what he was doing. But it's just like, come on, like,
Oh, and they barely called holding on the Chiefs. They called a couple of them, but they barely called it.
There was a ton of it though. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But then, speaking of holding, thank you for the segue once again, without even, like, knowing.
Yes.
So then, with that being said, how do you go about fixing this O line? Like, how do you go about really just like fixing this frequent? Because it's not just something that's been a consistent; it's even a frequent issue. Like, we know that it's guys are getting blown up. Matt Ryan has the most fumbles in the league with 7 right now. I mean, how do you fix this? 3 weeks into the season.
Like you said, Bernard. Nah. Go ahead.
you want to go first, man? Go for
Go
it.
ahead. You go ahead.
Either get rid of Pryor and put the rookie in, and either bring someone else in on left tackle. I mean, spend the money, get it taken care of, because the thing that is actually holding us back biggest on offense from scoring more points is the offensive line. there is so much miscommunication, and it all starts with the left tackle and kind of goes through the rest of the line. Right guard, we can take care of pretty easily, but left tackle has to be addressed. Either that, or go ahead and be ready to keep watching guys going into the backfield and Matt Ryan scrambling for his life. And hey, for a 37-year-old QB, he's made a few yards better than some other guys,
Oh yeah.
But his fumbles and stuff like that will continue to happen because we're missing plays and everything else, and everybody's trying to pick up somebody else's man. So
you can't do that.
So spend the money or put the rookie in, or I don't know at that point.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
It was coming made in our chat, coach chat. I forgot who it was. I forgot who it was that said it, but they said that we know that. But Danny Penner is more suited for a center position than the right guard. So they said that put Matt Pryor at the right guard position. Put in Bernard as the left tackle position, and it should fix your issue. Of course, you got to have communication with Ryan Clark being the center. But you got to communicate the schemes or the position for everybody and give it to Matt because Matt look lost. He don't know where to go sometimes. He go into it's like he's running into the sacks or causing him to fumble. So he needs to go away from it. Knowing that he got those issues on the left side, like you said, communication got to be from the center. Say, hey, we're going to work out to the right, not to the left. That way, he don't go to the left where he's getting sacked at. And then, like I said, draft where we got to draft. Yeah, I know Ballard loves the second round. That's his money. He made his money out of the second round. Next year, 2023, use some of those high picks that you're going to have for Carson Wentz because he won't finish in Washington. Get some of those picks. And draft the line, draft your, whether it be a right guard, draft one, a draft an attacker if you don't think Bernard is the guy for the future.
Okay. And I'm gonna say probably short term. I'm gonna say it's just like we've had it here. It was they said left tackle Raymond, left guard Nelson, center Kelly, right guard Pryor, right tackle Smith, which I think, and that's Austin. So, like I said, and I think that they've been throwing that around, but I think that's probably going to be the best way to make sure that you're doing what you need to do because, I mean, with the state that the O-line's in right now, it's just like Matt Ryan, he's basically going to end up getting hurt, having to frequently, take these sacks and then just keep on giving up these fumbles. But even more so, these fumbles we're lucky that teams aren't converting at a higher rate off these turnovers that they're getting from us with the fumbles. It's just like Matt Ryan has had to frequently go and just like he's been playing pretty good in the passing game, but I mean he's still like that pocket's collapsing way too quickly. And I'm gonna say something else that could potentially help. Keep that line the way that you see right there, the Raymond Nelson, Kelly, Pryor, Smith. And then let's get Jelani Woods in at the tight end spot.
I'd rather have Jelani Woods in over Mo Ali Cox. Stronger, faster. He's shown better hands than Mo Ali Cox has in his first few years.
He's not faster. He's not faster.
But he runs the routes better. But he runs.
Is he faster than Mo? I thought Mo was a little faster.
Woods is faster than Mo. Mo is so the thing is when I look at Mo Ali Cox, I look at him as a very unpolished, very raw version of Anquan Bolden. Somebody who's not a very fast guy. But the thing is, it's just like, he can catch and he's secure. But the problem is that, he's for the tight end, he is a little bit undersized and he's not that fast. But the thing is, with somebody like Jelani Woods has speed and he's 6'7".
I was looking at experience wise because we saw our tight ends being targeted more this game than the previous game. They're being utilized more. I think in the first quarter he threw to 7 different guys. That's what you need.
So Matt Ryan for his entire career has targeted running backs coming out of the backfield or scat backs,
Yeah,
slot out, and he's always targeted his tight ends better. I mean, that's what he's always done. So
Yeah.
for him sticking with his bread and butter, the worst thing that happened to us was in training camp, Ogletree going down. That kid was
Yeah.
going to be a monster.
Oh
He
yeah.
was showing out better than Woods and everybody else. So
Oh yeah. And you know, it was, you know, the with the way that Woods is now, like the two things that I'm gonna say that I want to pinpoint is the fact that, you know, with Woods having both of those touchdowns, the first one was on a route where it's just like he ran a
yeah,
post where he was literally in the back of the end zone, but
yep.
he was nowhere near anybody back there, which means that however they were playing, he was
They
able to
didn't.
get them to a point where they weren't expecting him. And to me, it's
correct.
just like, how do you not expect somebody at 6'7" who you see is running by you? But then the other thing is, you know, that spoke to him being able to know exactly where to go, and then also him knowing how to run the route. The other thing
And
is the strength. He mossed the guy that he caught it, stayed on his feet, caught the ball for a touchdown on a play where he was completely covered.
Yeah,
So the
on the
thing
last play to
is
win the game.
so yeah,
yeah,
and so the
yeah.
thing is when you if you look at the film, if you're Tennessee, right, you're looking at the
Mm.
film, mind you, you know, right, when we're going to talk about Tennessee because we're about to wrap up soon, but
Right.
when you look at a team like Tennessee, who doesn't have the type of personnel to really be able to cover everything all around, and you have Jelani Woods in. You have Jelani Woods in at a tight end spot who's playing on the end of the line. You have somebody else that you have to account for. Now you're going, you know, can you account for him with linebackers? Probably not, because I mean the
No,
linebackers,
no.
there's nobody that has that size. So that means that eventually somebody's going to have to come over and help. Jelani Woods can easily go in and just make sure that you're chipping on you know a defensive end, which means that that's gonna potentially give you another second to be able to go. If he chips somebody and then he goes out on routes, 9 times out of 10 that's gonna be open every single time because that Tennessee secondary right now, they're
It's
ticklers.
soft.
All they're doing is tickling people. They are not good.
But that's why I was saying to
They,
keep
they are
keep the guys in what we have now because Granson is very good out in the passing game, and so is Mo. We don't need it right now. We don't need anybody to scheme for Johnny Woods. Keep him at his natural position now. It'd be forgotten like the Chiefs did. They forgot about him. Hell, we forgot about him, and he came and
yeah.
scored 2 touchdowns. They helped us win the game. Keep him at a minimum snaps to where this week
But
4 game.
but Granson, you watch a lot of his film. He doesn't perform half as well on his routes and everything else. He is faster than Woods,
Right.
but he doesn't hit his routes as well. His timing's a little off.
Okay.
Whereas if Woods, you watch his speed and everything else and how he affects the defense, he's actually producing more of a mismatch every time he's on the field. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Right. I see what you're saying. It makes sense.
And that's the reason why, like, let's just say, for example, and you know, I'm getting my armchair QB on. I do apologize, but you know,
No.
what's stopping them from running with a 2 tight end set running off of the offensive line? So now you have 7 guys on the line,
You can
and that means,
put
and
in
then let's just say it's just like,
yeah.
yeah, and then you have Michael Pittman Jr. and then you have, let's just say, Alec Pierce or Pierce Campbell on the other side. You have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and you're running out of shotgun. The shotgun's going to buy you time, mind you, so that you can potentially either throw to Jonathan Taylor or throw to Nyheim Hines, and then you have to account for the 2 tight ends who are going to be able to chip. You're not going to be able to really blitz because if you have those 2 tight ends and they go out on passing routes, then that means that they go out on passing routes. That means that you have to watch them. You have to watch them either in the flat or you have to watch them on the intermediate on second level. That means that if you
Right.
send Michael Pittman and you send, you know, Alec Pierce deep, they're going to be able to burn anybody over there because Terrence Mitchell is trash. Caleb Farley hasn't done much of anything. I don't know who's after them, but I'm pretty sure he's trash too. Like, I mean, there's not going to be much for them to do about that.
But you can also
It-
run a 3 tight end set, left or right,
Mhm.
1 wide receiver on the right with whoever you've got coming out of the back are you going to cover that many people? Because, okay, yeah, you got two tight ends possibly chipping and moving, and then the other tight end running free.
Yeah.
The thing is, this is where Frank gets too cute. He doesn't either run the ball, he doesn't use traditional plays. He wants to get cute on some things.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
the, well, the one to win the game was straight up football because he had Wentz out there at receiver.
Yeah.
Running a crossing route.
Yeah. Yeah. And and that's the reason why I think like this next week is going to be pivotal because I think this could potentially end up giving Frank Reich his walking papers if this doesn't end up going the way that it should. Like you have an opportunity to go up 2-1-1, and then if for some reason, let's just say Jacksonville loses, they're 2-2, which means that we move up in the rankings. If for some reason Tennessee wins this game, we're 1-2-1. And that means that we're gonna end up being in a position where we're potentially dropping down to third place in the division, which
on the
we
show.
can't afford to.
No, he'll lose it. Ursay will lose it.
On the show, we got to play Denver.
Last few at the end of the season last year, he'd be done.
Yeah, and he even said that he said that he absolutely wants to beat Tennessee. He said that he wants to beat them bad. So I mean, it's just like Ursay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if right now Ursay is on the phone with Frank Reich saying, "Listen, you need to fix whatever needs to be fixed because we are not going to be losing to Tennessee, especially not at home. Because I mean, we lose at home, then it's just like, oh no, absolutely not. So, I mean, it's." And then speaking of, here we are on to Titans versus Colts keys to victory. All right. So yes, I say Wade myself. That sounds crazy,
Yes.
but you know what? It is what it is.
You did fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So then, keys to victory. So Chris, what are going to be the keys to victory offensively, keys to victory on defense?
So offensively, it's going to be pretty simple. You just gotta keep Derrick Henry wrapped up. So hopefully Darius Leonard's back to help with cleaning up, run blocking, and everything else. Because it hadn't been our strong strength. We've actually done better on pass blocking for most of the games. So if we keep Derrick Henry down, that puts the game in Tannehill's hands, which opens up our secondary, which we do pretty good with. I've been very happy with our secondary. Next up would be getting the lead to make sure that they have to pass. And so that comes back to the Colts' end of the making the victory happen would be start running it early, take the pressure off of pass blocking and everything else. But, of course, it's all going to start with the offensive line. If they can't hold their end of the job, then, we are going to watch the same three things that we have in the past few weeks. It's going to be a messy game. If we can't get pass blocking, run blocking, anything like that, it's going to be a sloppy game. But you're going to hope in the end that some of the young rookies like Pierce and Jelani Woods and everybody else shows up, but it's going to rely on Matty Ice and JT and Pittman. So those are the keys to the victory.
All right. And Josh, what about you?
Much like last week, it didn't go as planned, according to plan, but like we said, establish a run, get JT going. JT at his best, we get close to at least 25 carries. He got 21, but the run block was pretty bad. It didn't help him. Like Chris said, he made a lot of those plays happen even when it wasn't good. Get them going. Their weakest point right now is their defense this year. Passing and stopping the run. They can let Saquon come back from a serious injury and rush for 160. I know JT can do the same. Just have to have the carries and blocking. Block for Matt Ryan. He can throw the guys into. He can make the necessary plays across the field. Like he can spread it out to everybody. Their secondary is their weakest point right now, other than Kevin Byard and Monty Hooker. I don't know what's wrong with Fulton. I don't know what's wrong with Farley, and I don't who his other guy is. Chris Jackson, namesake.
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
No relation. No relation. No relation. I have no idea who that fellow is.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I'm not talking bad about them, but that's what it is. I mean, they allow the Raiders to come back in the game and lose by 2. So I have play calling has to be on point. I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl game, but this helps us in the league for the division. It brings us to the top if Jacksonville loses, and it helps us in the division. We haven't won a division game yet. We gotta get this helps us string wins, and we got a short week. Thursday we got we have a game against Denver, so we got a short week and go to Denver after that. So get this win and head out to Denver and another much needed win against a struggling Broncos team.
Yep. Yeah. And just some comments. He said Leonard was desperate to get into the game Sunday. I hope he's back this Sunday, which I mean he was antsy. Like he wanted to be out there. I think he was going to take Franklin's stuff and start playing for him. So and they said Titans' defense hasn't been good at all. So JT should have a field day. Like he said, hopefully Leonard is back and our defense is fired up and stops the run. And you know here's something else that I'm gonna.
You want to go ahead?
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. I think we're about to say the same thing, but go ahead.
I'll let you say it, man. We were about to say the same thing.
No, well, I was actually going to speak to the run defense because the run defense. So the run defense has actually been, I'm going to say, the bright spot on the defense, or one of the most consistent spots on the defense, because I mean, we saw that James Robinson after the game that he had against the Chargers, who have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, I mean, he went off. And, I want to say that team-wise, I want to say, and let me go ahead because I wanted to make sure that I pulled up the team stats for everything. But I believe that in terms of
2.9
teams, I think defense, we are
first in rushing defense.
Yeah. So first in rushing defense, and that's been, or no, matter of fact, we're third in rushing defense, actually. We're third in rushing defense because we've only allowed a grand total of 231 rushing yards total. So that's in between running backs and quarterbacks. That's 231. The only teams that are ahead of us, Jacksonville is actually number 1 in rushing defense. And then after Jacksonville is Buffalo. So the rush defense has actually been significantly better than it has been in previous years. Whereas, like I said, I think the pass defense is lagging a little bit behind. I know we're probably like middle of the pack right now in terms of pass defense. So, I mean, and knowing exactly how much they struggle when it comes down to passing, because their O-line is just absolutely, I think their O-line might actually be worse than ours.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that they're going to absolutely be coming after us. Harold Landry being out is going to be a game changer because their pass rush hasn't looked nearly as good as it has in previous years. So
he was vital the 2 games last year against us.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. He blew a lot of stuff up.
And then we're going against a team where, just talking about these 20s, they are the Titans' pass defense is 24th in the league, and their rush defense is 29th in the league. So their defense right now has not been good.
Well,
got to take advantage.
I always knew their pass defense was pretty bad, but
it was good last year. It was good last year, though.
Yeah.
It took a nosedive this year.
Yeah, well, the thing is, because they lost guys like Jayon Brown, Harold Landry's out for the year. I mean, they didn't re-sign a bunch of guys, and then they said, "Oh well, Rashad Weaver, he's going to come in and be good," and I think he's probably the worst out of all of them.
Okay, but they still have Zach Cunningham. They traded for last year. I mean, why is he still bad?
But But I mean, I don't know. It's just like you had to speak to the 28 teams before him to find out why he's so bad. But I mean, but when it comes down to it, I mean, it's this game is going to absolutely be pivotal. I'm going to say only for the simple fact that you're dealing with a team, and mind you, the Titans haven't played division games yet. They're playing all the teams outside of the division. The Giants were a fraud because we know that the Giants we saw last night, they are just not
They're
good.
they're horrible.
Yeah, and then
Go ahead.
who else did the Titan who played the Titans in week 2? I think that was that was the Bills. Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Where Buffalo
Yeah,
is just like, they've
good.
looked a lot better. But the way that Buffalo trounced them, and I say trounced because that's what happened, they flogged them, they purged them. Like it was bad. They took their figurative leather glove off finger by finger and smacked them in the face 44 times with it. Well, 41, not bad.
Hey,
But we also
it's a 40 piece.
We also have to look at they just beat the Raiders, who added a better wide receiver that we couldn't handle last year.
But they only had one receiver because Hunter Renfrow was out.
Oh, he was. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it made it much easier for them to key in on.
One dimensional. Gotcha.
Because their run game sucks.
Oh yeah. Well, the other thing was that they, like I said, they played against a Raiders team who right now they don't know up from down. So, and I'm fine with that because, F Josh McDaniels. But
correct.
But you know what? But the thing is, honestly,
yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Hey. We may have ended up with Frank Wright, but I'm much happier we didn't have McDaniels. My bad.
Yeah, because McDaniels, the first thing that he does when he goes anywhere is like trade away your best player.
Oh yeah,
it's just like it's bad, and that's exactly what he did. He traded Trayvon Mullen to the what's the name? He traded Trayvon Mullen to the Cardinals, and their defense is now actually worse in passing defense than they were last year. So, huzzah!
Well, I hope they continue it when we play them.
Yeah. But you know what? I think ultimately it's just like it's also going to be just making sure that once again just shutting down Derrick Henry. I think Traylon Burks will be good one day. That day will not be this Sunday. And then I mean, as far as their defense goes, their defense is not that good. Like we saw, it's just like they're 29th in passing and 24th in rushing defense. So I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. So, yeah.
The big thing will be.
I got some breaking news right now. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's not football related. It's it's Yankees related. They won an AL East, but nobody want to talk about it but me.
Oh, they won an AL East? Oh, okay.
Yes, they won it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say the big thing is going to be offensive play calling. That's what it's going to break down to. Frank's either going to win or lose this game because 9 out of 10 times, I'm sad to say this, but Mike Vrabel is the better coach.
Yeah. I mean, that's technically the only spot that right now they're better in, and I think Mike Vrabel is a better coach, but he is actually hindered by the fact that his coordinators are absolutely dog poop.
Oh yeah.
Like we should absolutely be able to go in there. So then, knowing what we know, we all feel like we absolutely should be able to win this game. Chris, what do you have the prediction for your score for this game?
24-17 Colts.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
Since I'm watching Aaron Judge, I'm saying 99-1.
Listen, if we get to 50, I'll be extremely excited. Okay, it'll probably be bad because the group will get shut down again.
Yeah.
By the time again. No, I'll be realistic. I give us 28-14. Or 28-17. Keep 17 up. 28-17 Colts.
Oh, all right. And I'm gonna go 31-24 Colts. And
Mm.
now, and then Austin says he might be a better coach, but how good is he at climbing mountains? Thank you for that tidbit, Austin. That was amazing. And 34-20 Colts, Austin's pick. So, all right. So yeah,
Okay.
with that being said, people, that's the end of it. However, before we go, make sure that you go to manscaped.com, okay, for all your shaving needs. All right.
Yes, I'm waiting
So
on mine
if
right
if
now.
yeah, whether you like to trim the hedges or scorch the earth, Manscaped has everything that you need. All right. And just remember, use code FANBATTLE, all one word, all capitals. I don't think that you have to use that specifically, but yeah, just go ahead and order it. Make sure you use that promo code 20% off free shipping. Life is rough, but your balls don't have to be. All right. So then with that being said, Chris, where can the people find you?
I'm at Chris Norton 77 on Twitter. Instagram, I really don't use. I have one, but I'm also on Facebook. If you're on AFC Fan Battle, you'll see me post some stupid stuff occasionally. So there you go.
Hey, you can't be any worse than Titans fans. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's yeah. All right. And what about you, Josh?
You can find me on this podcast every Tuesday at 9 Eastern time. And you can find me in the Fan Battle group. You can find me on Twitter at I am Justine. You can find me on TikTok. I am Justine. You can find me celebrating since Sunday, celebrating the Yankees right now. You can, just find me everywhere. And find me celebrating after Sunday after we beat Titans.
There you go. All right. And you can, of course, find me at CJ Colts fan. Make sure you are subscribing or following us at YDKJAC Podcast, in addition to the YDK Basketball and at YDKJAC Baseball. Make sure you follow us there. We'll be announcing different contests, giveaways, whatever's going on. And then, like I said, just come over here and chop it up with us, talk a little trash. We're always available. Just go ahead and just let us know. It's just like, and then Leslie says 31-3, and she says pass, pass, pass. So they're saying pass, 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 because of course the Titans pass defense is garbage. So yes,
we know what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. If Colts win, we're going to make a post. I'm going to give away one of these.
Ooh.
No, he was flossing.
Like it.
Hey, he was wearing that Sunday, man.
Colts win. We're going to make a post about it for a drawing, and we're going to pick a random fan to win one of these.
When a Colts turnover check.
They suck.
I like it. Nice. So yeah, hey, be on the lookout for that. We'll be posting that on the page.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
I'm gonna need a picture of that. Okay.
I'll send
a picture of that. But yeah, we're gonna do that. But hey, listen, we will be back next week. We will be talking after we go ahead and we play the Titans. Everybody stay safe. For those who are being impacted by the hurricanes that happening down in Florida, please be safe. Praying for you guys out there.
Yes, definitely.
And so just make sure, like I said, just life is precious. Just do what you have to do. We hope you make it out okay. But other than that, guys, it's been a good one. Chris, thank you once again for coming on.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
You've been awesome.
Thank you.
And yeah, and we will